Off the Beaten Path in Van Cleve is the Home of Grace, and they're really doing great work for folks who are in need of addiction recovery. Josh Barton's the executive director. Tell us a bit about what you do here.
Well, we help men and women from all over the country that are fighting addiction. And so we have a 120-bed men's facility here in Van Cleve. We have a 40-bed women's facility in Gaucher.
So how are folks connected with Home of Grace?
So many of the men and women that contact us have found out about us from some other men and women that went through our program years ago and got their life changed. And so they reach out to us to see how their loved one can get help.
So, for example, when you guys are constantly doing intake, you're constantly bringing in new residents to the campus. Tell us, what does that process look like?
So, again, every week we get a phone call. Admissions gets a call from a man or woman, or maybe a mom or dad trying to get their loved one in. So they walk through the process of making sure that person is ready for help, that they want help themselves. And then we set up an intake date. As we just got to see a second ago, we have people that check in every day at their men's campus and women's campus. So they come in and they go through their orientation, and then they start into their classes and their counseling and their work program.
What do those classes look like? What does a typical day in the life kind of look like here?
So here, generally half of their day is in their classroom session. Their classroom session might be dealing with forgiveness, helping to forgive themselves, forgiving others, dealing with things on the inside. Some of it's biblical classes, marriage and family classes. So there's a whole host of classes that they go through. The second half of the day, they're in their individual counseling. They might be in their group counseling. And then at night, we have chapel services. We have different churches that come in from all over to do chapel services. And so that's kind of their daily routine.
So we're talking about sort of faith-based, biblically centered approach.
Correct. So we help the men and women find their purpose. We feel like that's the key. The thing that's made us successful for the last 60 years is helping someone understand that God's got a plan and a purpose for their life and helping point them in that direction.
So I've noticed that the campus is gorgeous. It's quiet. Like I said earlier, it's off the beaten path. That's by design.
Absolutely. I mean, not having a cell phone is beautiful. Being out here in this very serene setting, being able to calm your mind from all of life's challenges and problems, to start really focusing in maybe on the inside of what's been going on that's caused them to go down those paths. And so that's, yes, we're sitting on 160 acres here at the men's campus.
Wow. And you guys are celebrating 60 years.
60 years, we just passed January 2nd was 60 years.
Tell us a bit about the family history.
So my grandfather had the vision to start the Home of Grace. His dad was an alcoholic growing up. And so he knew what it was like to grow up under an alcoholic father. And 60 years ago, there was very few places. In fact, there was only, I think, 1 or 2 places in the whole country that helped people with addiction problems. And so he wanted to make a difference. And so he started the Home of Grace. First man entered our program January 2nd, 1965. And here we are 60 years later, 35,000 plus men and women through the program.
Do you think that's why Home of Grace has been so successful, is because it was started by individuals who have been down that path?
Absolutely. You know, his passion to make a difference, like I said, if you grow up under that as a child and then see the devastation of addiction, and then you start, when he became a pastor years later and he started seeing family after family struggling with a father that was off drunk, it really broke his heart and reminded him of his own childhood, and he wanted to make a difference because of that.
You have a lot of staff here who were also previous residents.
Probably a third of our staff were previous residents.
And that's a big piece of the success as well.
Absolutely. They've walked that journey their own self, and so they know how to relate with those men and women coming into the program.
Yeah, so the chapel here, you mentioned this is more than 160 acres.
Yes.
Should we go take a look at the chapel, since that is kind of like a big focal point?
Absolutely.
The faith-based piece of it.
Absolutely. It's the center point of our facility, of our program.
So we're now in the chapel. This place is stunning, and this is a lot of what you do happens here in this building.
Absolutely. So we have individual counseling, group counseling, classroom instructions, all those things at our main program. But this facility right here, this chapel, is really the heartbeat of the Home of Grace.
And you told me there's a nice little story before we went on camera about the history of this building. It wasn't the first building on campus, but it also wasn't built originally here.
No, our clients in the program went to Pascagoula, and this was a church in Pascagoula that they were dismantling. And our guys tore it down, brought it out here, brick by brick, board by board, reconstructed this beautiful chapel.
And so what happens? Is it just church services, or what do you do in this space?
So primarily we have a chapel service here every night from different denominational churches that come out and serve, but we also have graduation here every Friday. So, we have 8 or 10 men that check in the program this week, and 3 months from now, that group will be graduating right here in this chapel.
So is 3 months the standard period of time?
Primarily. We do have a 30-day program, but our primary program is 3 months.
So you were mentioning before about the counseling piece of it, how you have individual, you have group-based. Tell us about that as well.
So every man that comes in the Home of Grace, or woman, weekly they have their group sessions where really, as the group of the clients in the program, they can really work on each other to help them work through their problems. But then the individual counselor, they meet with them once a week as well. So they have individual counseling sessions that really deep dive into maybe those things that have grabbed them over these years.
And so your campus is I noticed looked like there's a baseball out there. You have a bunch of different, there was a lake I saw somebody fishing at earlier. There's a lot to offer here on the campus other than just, what you have inside the walls. Yes,
we have a fitness gym, we have softball, we have volleyball, we have pickleball courts. So many individuals, when they come to the Home of Grace, have lost concept of having just genuine, clean, healthy fun. And so for them to be able to see authentic, clean, healthy fun and feel better physically is very important for them.
And whenever folks are here, when folks are residents here, did their families come and visit?
So they have once a month family visitation, and then they have weekly phone calls with their family.
I feel like that's a huge piece of it. That support in what they're doing, I think, is also a key to what's measuring your success.
Absolutely. We also do some family marriage counseling, because oftentimes it's the spouses and the families that need counseling as much as anyone once the loved one gets into the program.
What is a good sign that maybe somebody needs to look into giving you guys a call?
So anytime someone is battling alcohol or drug addiction, it's not hidden. And so a lot of times people start feeling like they're all alone and that nobody understands what they're going through. And so if they would just reach out and call, they would understand there are thousands and thousands of people just like them that are dealing with the same thing. And so our admissions team can gladly help them through getting into the men's campus or getting into the women's program.
We heard it right there. Listen, you're not alone. If you recognize that there may be a concern and you want to give those folks a call, you see that information there at the bottom of your screen. Give them a call. They are here to help. They are here to guide you on that step to recovery. You see that right there, Home of Grace. Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chet.
Absolutely.